which is Mark Marino again, this time paired with the inimitable John Murray, who I'm happy to see is here and ready to go. Hi, John. This is the Writing Across the Multi-Metaverse session. So I turn over to you, John and Mark.
Thank you. So welcome, everybody. Appreciate you attending. So Mark and I have been thinking about virtual reality quite a bit. We created a piece, The Hollow Reach, where we explored some of the affordances, but lately a lot of hype has been around this concept of the metaverse. And maybe it has been eclipsed in some ways by the recent AI developments with ChatGPT and Disco Diffusion, but the amount of money that's poured into virtual reality and virtual worlds has basically been unprecedented. Meta changed its name from Facebook to Meta. Certainly, there's a number of software platforms that now claim to be the metaverse, and the origins of the term are from fiction, really. William Gibson and others have basically fleshed out what our modern conception of the metaverse is. But before we get into kind of the history and what we're going to do in this session today, I want to start with a video produced by Meta that describes their platform that they position as a precursor or even their own metaverse, although they've scaled back some of the terms from that. So let me share my screen along with some audio. Optimize for video clip. Great. Can everyone see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you going to the show?
Yeah.
Heads up. Let's get this party started.
Want to get some ice cream?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Thanks, guys. I'm here all week.
So Meta Horizons is basically positioned as a sanitized Second Life, one that runs on Meta's hardware and that is under Meta's control, where people create stuff for each other. They go there to socialize, meet new people, and otherwise is wholly owned by Meta. I'm going to post a link for this in the Discord as well. Part of our goal in the session today is to examine what does it mean to be a metaverse? What do current metaverse implementations realize from the dreams of people maybe that imagined a metaverse in a fictional world or in a fictional future? Is it a dystopia? Is it a utopia? What opportunities are there for us as participants in electronic literature and as denizens of the web who've created stuff on the web, across the web, and otherwise challenged things like social media with Twitter bots and others? How can we intervene in this new reality of the metaverse provided by these companies? And is it too late? Is it too long past the point where we could have made changes or influenced the rules that dictate these environments? So in the spirit of electronic literature, we're going to write both in and outside of these three selected metaverses. We're going to be looking specifically at Rec Room, Horizon Worlds, and VR Chat as our target locations. You could even imagine us as a set of protesters or insurgents going into these metaverses, figuring out what exactly is happening, what are the rules, what exactly could we do as artists and as creators in these spaces, but more importantly, what do we wish we could do? What are the problems with these spaces? So we're going to be writing according to a couple of prompts while we go through it. You do not need to have a VR headset to participate, but if you do happen to have a VR headset, the location for these three free software platforms are here. Two of them you can actually access on a either a PC or Mac or on a browser, on a mobile phone. So Rec Room you can run on a mobile phone. You don't need a VR headset. But for Meta Horizon Worlds, it would help if you have a Meta Quest or Meta Quest Pro or Meta Quest 2. So we're going to dive into these various things. We're going to be trying to do various things inside of these environments. We're going to decide what are actions that are allowable, what are the decisions that were made by these platform owners? And do any of them really meet the term or the vision of a metaverse? And maybe should we as writers and as creators maybe rethink about what a metaverse should be, so that Mark Zuckerberg and others aren't the only ones determining what these terms mean, what the concepts are. So there'll be plenty of chances to discuss and workshop and even improvise within these virtual worlds, both things to do inside the virtual world, maybe descriptions of what the virtual world is for people that may never experience Meta Horizon worlds, or even things that we might want to leave or create in these environments to raise awareness for the people that are already there, because there's hundreds or even in cases thousands of people actively on these various virtual worlds. So I'm going to actually hand over to Mark for a moment to describe some of that context. We came up with a bit of a fictional guise for this expedition.
Yes, indeed. So the idea of this is we're traveling into the Spider-Verse style across the multi-metaverses from one to the other, and we're looking for opportunities to resist, to protest. And I'm just going to plant one little seed in continuation of our last session in the spirit of NetProv. You know, as you're thinking about how to incorporate this into your classes, it might be helpful to think about, again, first of all, low-tech ways that you could incorporate this. For example, you know, obviously, like we've invited you all to this Google Doc where you can brainstorm. But also one thing that John and I were talking about was all of the platforms that we can also help students realize are virtual worlds as well, right? So any kind of collective hallucinatory shared space, whether that's from the hypertext hotel that has been referenced earlier in the last session in chat by Dina, which was a virtual fictional imagined space, to MOOs and MUDs, you know, to IRC, to Reddit boards, to Google Docs, to Zooms, to Discords, et cetera, et cetera. So we're imagining all of those online spaces where we coexist. And again, but again, our challenge for today, as John gets all wired up, is to think about these actual platforms as created by other people and constrained by other people, and what exactly, where is there room for resistance? So one more place I want to throw in there, which is online games, of course, too, and everything from the online poker table to the online to, you know, World of Warcraft, Fortnite, etc. Right? So these are all, you know, virtual worlds that we share that are heavily created and constrained by the producers, and that also have their own income generating models at the base, which is like everything on the internet. It's you know, data stealing and ad serving, that sort of thing. Okay, John, is this a good time to go back to you? Maybe.
Well, I think we lost John.
No, he's there, but his audio is not coming through anymore.
Yep, give me one more moment here.
Okay, that's good. I got more stuff from our scripts. So again, these three rooms that we're bringing you in, we'll bring you in sequence. The first one will bring you into Meta's Horizon worlds. The second one we're going to go into is VR chat. And the third one we're going to go into is called Rec Room. And these are all ones where at least the app itself is freely available on any of these Quest devices, and I don't know how accessible they are from other devices. I think they're at least VR chat and Rec Room are cross-platform. You can even do a Rec Room on your phone, although it's not easy or necessarily pleasant. VR chat, I think you can access from your PC as well. All right, John, you just give me a thumbs up when you're ready, because I've got. Oh wait, is that the thumb? Was that the thumbs up? That was the thumbs up. No, that wasn't the thumbs up yet. Got it. And just so I get a sense, do people want to put up a virtual hand if they currently have access to a VR headset of some kind? Maybe just put your hand up in chat so I can get so not too many. We got one, looks like one thumb. Do we have, and then how many people are made queasy by VR headsets? Let's see some hands, or virtual or otherwise. Yeah, I actually me. I'm one of those people. I am made queasy by these headsets. I have to restrict the amount of time, and I can't tell if it's my, like, this is the reveal. Like, if you couldn't tell from the white beard, like I also have progressive glasses that I think get screwed up by them, and I have lenses and all sorts of things to try to prevent. Oh, look at that! John seems to be in there. Okay, take it away, John. I'll go join you. You're in Horizon Worlds? Okay, I'll join you.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Oh.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, you can. Okay, great. Yes, and feel free to also speak up in the Zoom chat, because I can't, or not even so much text. I can hear you in the audio, but I can't necessarily see chat messages. So I am right now in my home space here. So I'm going to close this and give you a little bit of a tour. So I recently gave a presentation with Anastasia Salter at MLA on fictional depictions of the metaverse and of virtual worlds. Some of them that come to mind, of course, are Ready Player One and Upload in particular. How many people have heard of or seen any of Upload? If you've got a hand, yeah.
I love the Upload.
Good stuff.
So Upload was actually what I was most reminded of when I first arrived in my virtual home, where I was supposed to be considering this as like my space that I didn't design any of the furniture or layout or anything. And it looks exactly like every other person's space on this virtual platform that is considered the home space. So the uniformity and lack of modifiability struck me right away. Very curated. So I'm going to see if I can invite Mark, if he's here, to join me.
I'm not there yet. It said I was unable to travel. Give me a second to get back in.
Okay. Well, so here are some things I can do.
I'm using the Southwest of VR hookups. Southwest Airlines.
I can edit my avatar. I can see the news presented, very Facebook style. It has some events. And I can also see all of this safety and moderation material. So because this is the Wild West of online spaces, there's lots of ways to report people that harass you or that allow you to retreat away from social spaces. And there's also customizable codes of conduct. So look, there I am. This is my mirror. Let me see. I could probably edit my avatar using their avatar system, but I can't be another thing than a human being. Meta considers me to be someone with 2 eyes, hands, a body. There's really some limitations on what I can do with my body. So here's some examples. And I think this is worth touring around a bit, especially for those that may not have access to Meta Horizons. So I can change my body shape. I can be as thin as I want to be, probably as close to my real body shape as I want either. And because it's Facebook, they actually have some amount of encouragement to make you look a bit like your real life persona and perhaps other features as well. So
I think it's worth pausing on that point for just a bit, because again, again, a lot of us remember the text-based internet, where you could be whoever you wanted to be or pretend to be. And of course, there's lots of room for abuse, but lots of room for creativity there. And then Facebook shows up and everybody's compelled to be these like, authenticated selves, which has all sorts of other problems about, lack of criticality, but of course the stealing of information. But I guess I do want to mention this choosing of avatars when they look so much like humans. I think it really, as John's saying, like really compels you to make a version that looks like yourself. First of all, because, or idealized version of yourself, because the identity issues that come up with looking like somebody else, of course, right, is, I think, raises all sorts of other issues and problems, as opposed to if, for example, they allowed for more fanciful representations of yourselves, like the cats we did when we were putting on those Zoom filters.
I don't even think I could change my gender expression. I'm really looking for options.
Tegan was asking what is happening when we see the black frame appear.
Black frame. Okay,
Oh
let
yeah,
me
we
see.
can't see. We can,
I think
for
there's a
some reason-
focal
Oh,
frame.
yes. Actually, you can't see what I'm seeing. That's very
Yeah.
interesting.
That's weird.
Yeah, no, you can't see it. All right, so let me see. It's because this has kicked me out to a different interface. So let me reshare my screen and try to show that. So basically, I'm no longer in Meta Horizons when I'm editing my avatar. I'm actually in the Meta like desktop, as it were. So let me try to fix that so you can see what I'm seeing, because I think it is really compelling to look at their conception of avatars. So
And Jonathan, I'm there when you whenever you want to. I'm
Okay,
now
got
on
it.
there.
Let's see.
Don't hurry.
Windows settings. Settings. Give me 1 second.
No problem.
Stream.
Okay, while he's looking, do people have other questions that could be raised orally?
I have one, which is what kind of information do you have to supply as you sign up for these worlds? Do you
Well,
need your real name?
The problem with this one is it's linked to your Facebook account.
No, not anymore. There was a huge uproar about this.
Oh, really? That's good.
Yeah, so they now decoupled it. So Meta accounts are now distinct from Facebook accounts.
Okay, that's good.
So my understanding is you don't have to provide your real world name or gender for Meta accounts. And that's a step in the right direction. Enough people have tried to have raised issues with Google, Facebook wanting to do it. And of course, they want to in order to advertise to you. They need to have all of your internet history connected to your virtual presence in order for them to make enough money. So they're thinking they can get around that some way without necessarily binding your Facebook account and your Meta account.
Of course, it's the usual, but your contacts are, if you want to import your contacts, then you give all that information over.
How many people are building these augmented or virtual reality worlds just on their own?
Oh, that's a good question. I can give you, let's see, I can't necessarily, so apparently the Oculus Home is hidden by default in the mirror, but I can show you other things. Let me see if I can't. But I would say thousands, maybe less, and a lot of them are younger, right? Like Mark and I encountered quite a few people that were underage, let's say. So this presents its own challenges, especially with this environment where we can't go into a chat room with people that don't necessarily want to be streamed into a conference. So we're keeping that as a constraint on what we can show you, but I can show you number of people in different places and things like that. So let's see. Let's go take a look over here at, can everyone see? I think I'm back in Horizons now, so everyone should be able to see the
No,
You're not sharing screen right
Oh,
now.
I'm not sharing. Right, sorry.
Do you have more freedom than you would in Second Life?
Oh, way less freedom, way less freedom. I would say this is a totally controlled virtual world, whereas Second Life has a lot more agency and ability to change things and bring in outside stuff. So in Horizon Worlds, you basically are given a sandbox to play in and specific things you could do, but you can't change your avatar beyond a set of preset human-like options and accessories that they approve of. You can't import new models into the system, for instance. But that's not true of all of the worlds we're looking at today. We're just starting with the most restrictive of them. And then apparently I locked myself out of my home, so I should figure out.
That's hilarious.
There we go. All right, you said you're in now, Mark?
Yeah, you're in. Yeah, I'm in. Invite me over. I'll show up.
Okay, I am inviting you over now.
Oh, look, I've been invited. Beep, beep, beep. Oh, I've been invited to a party. Oh, how nice. I'm going. Let's see.
Should I turn on? I'm gonna say only people at the party can hear me.
World, I guess. I can mute my mic in world too.
Got it. Okay, I've muted my mic in world. Did I go to you though?
Yeah, I think you did. Where are you?
I don't know, I accepted your invite.
I'll send you another one.
Just send me another one. Good. Beep, beep.
All right, so right now there's only a few things that are interactable. So like, for instance, I could pick up this gun and shoot at things, creating like a little game.
Your mic is still on in world, just so you know.
Oh, it's still on in the world? Okay, because I can't hear any audio in the world, which is weird.
I hear lots of John Murray.
All right, I am mute.
I'm here. Here I am, behind you.
Now we
Uh-oh.
can't hear John at all.
Oh, you're muted also in Zoom.
I think Mark might have to deal with the echo.
All right, yeah, you good now? Let me try turning it off inside of the world. I think I can do that.
Wow, can you hear John in the stream now?
I can hear John and I can hear you now.
Oh, I think you have to keep yours on in the world, John, because your audio is streaming out of the world.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just the only person who gets to hear you twice.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that is how it is. All right, so we have these objects that are interactable with like mini games. These are in the home. I can't actually change anything about this home. So like I can't add new models to the home. I can't change the furniture around or interact with it. I can't even pick up the objects on my shelves.
So why would we want to do this virtual world?
I'm not really being a very good salesperson for this.
Maybe we can take them to a.
Let me show you one of the, let's do it. Let's see. So one way I thought of going around the issue of not wanting to include people without their consent in this stream is to go to a world where nobody is present. But if I just am looking at worlds, I don't know, let's see. Can you see what I'm seeing? Yes, you can. So here's, for example, what Meta considers to be active spaces that people can visit and that have the number of people in them. So this one, for instance, has 51 people currently in it, but has 8,530 people that like it. So this might give you an idea of the numbers of people that are on the platform across some of these. It's just looking at the most popular one and how many people actively like it versus how many people are in there at any given time. So I think the highest number of people I've seen like it is like 11,801. And that was this this world right here.
And can you all see his menu that he's showing you right now?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the Soapstone Presents Dry Bar Comedy. The 14-part Dry Bar comedy series will run on Thursdays with showtimes at 3, 8, and 11. So they are basically doing a live show inside of a virtual world at given times. And I assume it has some combination of improv and sketch comedy.
So to answer your question, Lyle, you could create one of these environments and bring people to it, and then put in that you could build out as you wish and perhaps create a virtual experience for people. So if I go into the art menu, I see Jedi versus Mandalorian Battle Royale. They have a very expansive notion of art. Motorsport dealership, street hoops basketball, the fair, DeLorean Back to the Future car, Meta Chef, etc. So
Simpsons.
Kawhi's Honey Hunt Meta Bee Adventure. That sounds like fun.
Yep. And one of the more popular ones we saw earlier was this superhero sandbox, which
Oh, yeah.
basically gives people superpowers that they can then fantasize as being one of the characters from, say, a popular Marvel movie and interact with each other using some of these powers, such as the ability to fly, the ability to get your own Infinity Stones. It's very interesting how this borders between participation in fan communities and monetizing someone's property that you don't own.
And is it going to be an app? Is it like an app-based model where there's like, if you want Captain America's shield, you have to pay another 10
Yeah,
bucks?
this is
Or...
their vision for it, is to exchange money. So basically to use tokens to purchase things in world and to have users be paid for having created stuff in this creation sandbox. And I think that creation sandbox is something we could look at together, just to give you an idea of like what sort of things artists can do with a metaverse besides seeing what other people have already created. So
Yeah,
let me
do that. You're gonna make a world.
I actually think we can. Let's see. Create.
So-
Yep, we could create a new world, and this is going to be audience choice for where to start up with these environments.
But also to speak to your question, Lyle, you know, I mean, some of these are like you're creating a little playground for people to come over and play, right? So a lot of people are like so much content online, making environments for other people just to come on. Like that superhero sandbox one, you just walk around and you put on the Hulk gloves or you put on the Captain America shield or whatever, and they just want you to come to their playground and check it out. So it's that part of it has this currently a similar economy to making a Facebook group, right? Or a Discord channel or whatever, right? It's not
So
there's
here's
not microtransactions there.
I'm just thinking about, you know, we were talking earlier in the teaching session, and I think it was Emily maybe who had the concept of creating worlds but using Twine, which is open source and freely available, and it's this idea of inviting people to, yes, Emma, sorry, apologies. And this and I sort of echoed that I have a tattoo that says create the universe. And it's this very creative approach, but to have it sort of micro monetized in this very commercial space, I think we're seeing a lot of comments in the chat that this feels a bit depressing and dystopian.
oh,
Well,
absolutely.
Yeah, but again, John, we got to show them the creative realm, because I think you might.
You don't have to monetize it, although there will be a lot of incentives, I think. I invited you, Mark, if you accept it, to go to this place.
Okay, where's my? I gotta find my invitation. Where do
Apparently,
see
I
that?
earned new reward items for my home just by doing this.
Maybe you should go there and then send me an invitation from the world.
Sure, I could do that. Maybe.
I mean, it feels like they took the model of upload and didn't get the message that upload is not heaven.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't think I could have, and the whole Elon Musk dystopia, mistaking it for a plan for something to build.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I may have just crashed. Hold on a second. Wow, it's give me one moment.
I mean, I think the thing for me is that there's something about the physics of this, and this is something we talked about in the ELO session in Como, that if the lesson of Plato's cave is to help you, you know, see beyond the cave, this is kind of like this, or see beyond the shadows on the wall. This is kind of like we're forcibly creating a new set of shadows on the wall for people. that looks
And
as much like
not
the old
letting them out of the cave.
Yeah, without letting them. Now, again, when John shows you the maker space of this, again, it's similar to Alt Space and similar to some other Rec Room and some other platforms. You know, there are creative possibilities. You can create buttons with effects. You can add sounds. You can create. I remember when we were in Alt Space VR, I went to a number of sinking Titanic simulations that people made. Just to give you the sense of like the kind of thing that someone might make. So it's a time-based looping experience of the Titanic sinking. And there was more than one of those. So I mean, this is something that would be very difficult to create in the real world, you know, some experience like that you could without cost other than time create on a platform like this.
So what sort of tools do you have to build worlds in here?
So this one, the worlds are actually, or the creation tools are built into the platform. So you don't actually have to use Unity or Unreal or something like that, which actually is work in its favor. Let me actually go create. All right, here we go. It was this one. Let's go over to this one.
Again, I think Horizons isn't as popular as Alt Space. Alt Space people had done a lot of creating in. I think Alt Space is Microsoft's. But again, maybe people are just like slowly coming aboard Horizons. I just don't
so
see
here's a blank one. Let me invite Mark.
So we're tapping these little wrist controllers to talk to each other. Like we have.
Yeah, actually, it's very similar to Upload, like the phones.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Oh no.
Grassy Meadow, I'm coming.
All right, here we go. All right, so this is a blank world, and I can create stuff.
All right.
Here, I've just changed mode into creator mode.
Dave has commented that it's a golf course, which is, of course, a quintessential monetized green space.
Hey, I love it.
All right, so I'm right now inside of edit mode, and I can do duplicate, paint.
Cool, and I can make stuff
Oh
too.
gosh, giant Mark.
Yay. I know.
Oh, yeah, you changed your size. That's right.
Thinking we're like gods. Here we are.
We are gods. What are you talking about? That's the fantasy, right? We have total control. Let's see, grab, paint, create.
Even gods have no legs.
Even gods have no legs. It's true. They, okay, there we go.
Good question. Why did they choose no legs?
They just didn't have the technical capability. So Mark Zuckerberg actually made a huge to-do about legs being added to the metaverse at Connect last fall, and it hasn't been added yet, but basically they have to simulate where the legs go because all you have is the hands and the head. Much easier to create something from the waist up.
Gotcha. You don't have the hardware on your feet.
Yep, so here's an example of the interface. Can everyone see it?
Yes.
So I can add shapes directly to the environment. So grab this, place this cube here, maybe duplicate a few times, and then I can scale it maybe up if I want to over here.
What is the Metaverse Standards Forum? Does anyone know that?
What's the Metaverse what?
The Metaverse Standards Forum.
Metaverse standards. You're talking about like standardized file formats and like
Hi, I'm Lakes, and let me be the first to welcome you to Horizon's creation tools.
Sorry, my audio is really not liking this for some reason.
I couldn't hear that.
Neither could I. I think it has something to do with the audio not being happy. Let me try turning down my output.
Hi, I'm Lakes, and let me be the first to welcome you to Horizon's creation tools. Everything you see in Horizon was built by people just like you. In this series, you're going to learn about the Horizon community on Facebook, the Oculus party system, and creating your first world. Your forward world
Can't hear any of that.
Your intro world is a playground for learning.
All right, so beyond creating like objects, you can also script objects. It actually uses a very Scratch-like interface. So if we wanted to add a script to say an object, we can modify the script. Oh, I don't want to do grab, I want to edit. All right, so here's an example of a script where you can control things that happen in this world and object behaviors and properties as well. And it is one of the more interesting ways of giving people control over the world. It is definitely separated into a creator/user dichotomy though. So like there's people who interact with worlds and then there are people that create worlds, and you don't necessarily create a world while interacting with it. So this one would be when the world is started, maybe scale this object, for instance. Variable objects.
So people make things like this. Like
So many things we can't cover necessarily in this session, the full scripting capacity and world stuff, but it looks like Mark's been doing a whole bunch of stuff over here. Let me check it out. Let me exit out of this. So I'm now previewing the world as Mark is creating it. Oh my God, Mark's so big. However, my audio is really having problems. I'm sorry if people are putting stuff in chat. I can't quite see it, so I'm going to double check. And for some reason, my audio is really having a hard time with
Well, do you think we should show him another world, John? Should we take him to another multiverse? Metaverse? Verse?
I think that sounds good.
Okay.
MC Adventure Capitalist, currently up for auction, the Marino avatar bun. 2 trillion. 2 trillion elements that may not have any value. Wow, I can't control.
John, should we take him to VR chat?
All right, yeah, we should switch over to VR chat next. But what I invite people to do, in addition to participating in the Zoom chat, is also to write descriptions of what you're seeing in the Google Doc. So like, what is something you would want to do in Facebook Horizon Worlds? And it could or could not be possible to have happen, but it is something that, you know, we can imagine and possibly ask the creators to consider. maybe even try to give them feedback that they should let more hypertext into the platform or support Twine. But yes, right now it's actually quite hard to create anything really quick and easy, certainly, as you can see. Let me see if I can actually even do text.
Yeah, again, if you were thinking of this, like, you might think of it as like
I think I can create
a place where you
text.
could build an
Oh, wait, here it
escape
is.
room, you could build an exhibition space, meeting spaces.
One of the things I'm wondering is if this is analogous to the Twitter situation and possibly finding an alternative from this to a more open, democratic, progressive venue or platform.
Yes, yes, and more yes. But the problem with more democratic, we'll look at a few more metaverses that are basically positioning themselves as more open and more democratic, but they have similar issues. So let's see. So this is some text I created in World. So if you just wanted to create a world that involved positioning text around it and scaling the text and otherwise having users interact with text, this is quite possible, in addition to, of course, creating other types of assets. But let's move over to VR chat. But
So a lot of people like VR chat. I've seen a number of people make art projects in here. Again, they're sort of the nature of immersive theater, that sort of thing. And I can add some names of experiences if people want to try them out in VR chat at some point.
Mark, we're getting a little bit of feedback from your audio.
Yeah, sorry. That's because that's for lots of reasons. How about, has the feedback disappeared?
Yep. More better.
Not only has it disappeared, I can't hear you. Has it disappeared?
Yeah, it's better now.
Yeah, so like I said, I came across some groups that make some really nice VR experiences with VR chat. I guess that's a platform that's like a little bit more open. The worlds are a little bit more free. Well, we'll see it momentarily. Let me get you the name of a group to check out. This is like part of the XR community, I guess.
Starting to get a little feedback there.
A little humming coming through. I'm not sure what's causing that.
humming on my side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, let me, my entire.
That's
all right, better?
Yes.
I know personally, I would love to create a world where you could walk in and just read the poetry on the wall or play the music of the video or just experience my whole musical concept in this surrounded space and comfortable. And
well, you could. In a lot of these words, you can embed objects that are like videos and things like that, and embed walls. And I assume that most of them give you places where you can put text in three-dimensional text, like the kind that exhibition spaces. If you look at some of the works of the Caitlin Fisher, or even some of the stuff that Andy.
Yep, I was just
Campbell.
Putting some links. So Dreaming Methods, Mesbreeze, and Caitlin Fisher.
Yep. So those are all folks.
Almost as if you would be walking into an illuminated manuscript from medieval age, and other people could contribute commentary to things or even more works of art.
Yeah, it's certainly possible. In even what we saw in Horizon World, you could create something like that. So John's showing you VR chat, and again, one of the biggest changes in VR chat that I think people might find liberating is the choice of avatars. So it's not human representation. You can see that there are legs involved if you're fond of legs. But again, people are cats or robots or humans or androids or rabbits or bears or whatever they would like to be. We're seeing John's, I don't know if he knows that his audio is cut off, but you can see how he's selecting through. His avatar choices are a lot wider here. And you can create any of these worlds as open or private worlds as well. Yep, that's terrifying. Or maybe terrified of our cat community we just created. Sort of zipper man he's got there. Oh, nice. 8-bit person in the high polygon count world.
All right, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, so definitely you can, and so VR chat differs from Horizon Worlds and Rec Room in that you can import assets from Unity. You could actually bring in any models that you want as long as they have the right format and you use their SDK. So you could absolutely build something out in Unity that is just sound and models and text, and then bring that directly into VR chat without having to use the creator tools that I showed you from, say, Horizon Worlds. And in fact, there aren't any equivalent to the creator tools in VR chat. So here's some example of worlds. Again, I don't want to go to a world where people are there, but I do want to go to a world where there is no one else. So here's the ad for the SDK to create avatars and worlds. Change it to daytime. And they also have safety features. So you can keep people at arm's length. You can potentially change your shield level so that there is a maximum shield that turns off most avatar fields. Normal, so you basically don't let other avatars interact with you that are less trusted. And then you could change all of these levels of interactions. And VR chat, apparently you can interact with avatars by like touching their hair and things like that, which is very different than other similar things. So let's see, let's go to a world maybe.
Not recommended, the touching of hair, just to throw out there.
No,
but
definitely not.
But also, by the way, VR chat is the subject of a documentary on HBO that's definitely worth a watch. That's all made of capture. You know, it's about people who had experiences in VR chat, and it's filmed through video capture from VR chat. So
there's definitely some interesting stuff going on in terms of the development trajectory of VR chat compared to Horizon Worlds in terms of what their users are looking for, what they'd like to see. And VR chat, again, is cross-platform. You don't have to use VR. You could use a PC client.
and what are you highlighting? It's hard to tell on the shared screen, John, when you're thinking about the different interests of the people on VR chat. What are you, which ones are jumping out at you?
Like mostly not the worlds itself, but like the avatar focus, the idea of identity as expressed through a custom avatar that you can upload and that basically allows you to do different things as an avatar beyond what we saw in Horizon Worlds. So like to be able to have hair that moves, to be able to have different cartoon or anime or any number of things. So this is one area where I think VR chat certainly has a lot more creative freedom. And then if you look at the worlds themselves, it seems like it skews older, right? Like if you look at them, there's Gun 'em Down, there's kind of other kind of fantasy environments, putt-putt, but it's less like geared towards a family-friendly G-rated thing. So you'll definitely see stuff that's not G-rated in VR chat. Let's look at maybe an empty one and then take a look. Let's go to, I guess, VRware.
Well, what was that
So this
question?
one.
I was just gonna ask Rob's question, which in the chat he's asked, these worlds look and behave remarkably similar to the VR worlds of 10, 15, even 20 years ago. What are the invisible technical advancements since then?
I would say there are not a lot beyond the hardware. The hardware is probably the biggest advancement, just having VR headsets. I think Second Life already pioneered most of what we're seeing here. I think the other thing, of course, is hardware has enabled people to maybe even have facial expressions mapped onto their avatar. So that would be a huge technical advantage. And the ability to do more coding inside of the world itself using the tools that Horizon Worlds built and the Rec Room tools. So this is a mini game world that I found that I'm not actually sure. Hit the red box 8 times to create the game. I'm not actually sure how to hit it even. Shoot with the left hand.
So one of the things I want to throw out there as people are thinking about authoring, you know, a lot of the way and one of the ways you can do it in a lot of these worlds is setting up triggers and effects. So they do give you that. Again, that's it's hard to explain, but that's the Scratch-like component of this, right? So you can say, here's a button. When people press this button, it will cause this effect in game world, right? So in that way, it's a kind of a metaphorically a physical form of Snap or Scratch programming. Again, which in my experience isn't 100% pleasant, but
no,
I think
I would agree.
But could be a way to get people into programming again, in a sense.
I would also say it has a little less of a public square feel to it. So like the idea of these micro worlds being standalone instances, there's no kind of connected overworld like Second Life had. There's no way for everyone to be in the same space. In fact, I'm pretty sure there's limits to the number of people that can be in any given world. I think I've seen up to like 50, but I haven't seen like 1,000 people in the same virtual world at once. And they've run into these problems with their desire to host like virtual conferences or virtual concerts and things like that. So there are certainly more limitations, I would say, by increasing the amount of data that represents your presence in the world from a network and a processing perspective.
So maybe, again, I think it's important too for people to leap in their minds to other analogous systems, whether it's like GatherTown or Discord servers, or again, when you're thinking, this is what our Across the Multiverse session is also meant to inspire for you to, and sometimes those similarities and differences are really hard to see because the metaphor of the visual takes over everything. And of course, gee whiz, I got to put this thing on to get there.
This
right?
one
So
apparently has had 24.8 million visits and 170,000 people that favorited it. So that gives you maybe an idea of the scale of some of the activity taking place. But any given world instance only has about, I think it has a limit of 12 people.
Another thing that I saw a lot on AltSpace VR was people had recreated Disneyland as faithfully as they could, interestingly, complete with like video capture from the rides themselves. So I found it to be cool. It felt much more like Banksy's version of Disneyland to me, but.
Yep. So does anybody want to see maybe some other features we could look? I don't think, I think we can create instances of pretty much any world, but then people might join. I think that's one of the challenges here. Like I found a world where nobody was in it, but there's some that are massively popular. Like apparently the Black Cat, Simple Mirror World.
We
could create a new instance, I think, without people in it. Yeah, so I can create one with only invites.
Let's do it.
All right.
Do you want me
so
to?
I'm gonna,
I'll hop on, so maybe I can join.
yeah,
you
I'll
then.
invite you once I join it.
Let's see what
So
happens.
basically, any of these worlds, you can create your own private instance of it, and then invite people only that you want to come join you in that world, which to some extent makes it challenging to create public art. I mean, you can create an instance or a world that people can see and explore as an art exhibit. I think VR chat might be a good place to do an exhibition of your own if you have a model of an environment that includes your works embedded in it, sound, text, audio, and then it can be visited by anyone on VR chat. So I think
So thinking back to
was
Nancy,
definitely
that was
something.
kind of like Nancy's question, huh?
Exactly.
Okay.
Here, let me invite you. I think you're on my list.
Hold on, I gotta get back in. I'm not in there right now.
Oh, you're not in?
Yeah, give me a second. I gotta make a new boundary and turn off my heater so I don't burn myself. This is definitely gonna lead to some hilarity for people as I stumble around my actual room. VR chat. There we go.
Oh, look, the cat is watching us.
This is the
Feeling
Black
cat.
Cat, apparently a social space. So this one doesn't have, oh wait,
It
Alright,
even
I'm
looks like upload.
it does. Everyone seems to be like channeling this. Let's create a high-end luxury environment to go spend time. Oh, I can use something? Oh, I can use the beer taps. Okay, let me just step behind this bar here.
By the way, I highly recommend virtual reality 2, which does a great satire on all this stuff. Also virtual reality 1, if you haven't played it. It is that one is also pure genius. And I don't know if anybody knows, but Tender Claws, the Samantha Gorman group, Danny Canizero group that created those, has gotten the contract to create the Stranger Things virtual experience. So get ready.
Nice.
I know, it's awesome. I can't imagine people I'd rather have in charge of that.
Right?
Absolutely. I would even say that, here, you're still offline, right?
I know I'm joining. It says joining. I'm uploading now. But see, remember, I only have a little bit of money, so it takes me a lot longer to get there.
So you're on 2 gig bandwidth?
The actual cats have to pull my little avatar onto the scene. Okay, I'm there. I'm on.
Is this you
I can
here?
be invited. I don't know. Is what me where?
Let's see.
I don't know how to answer that question.
All right, what's your username?
I'm Mark C. Marino. I look like a raccoon, I think.
Okay, that was you then.
Oh, it was me. Oh, nice. I'm online. Oh, my avatar is a Wacoon. WACCOON.
I
like
think
being a Wacoon.
I invited you to a group.
Okay.
But,
Don't know how that. Oh, I see it. Yeah,
yes.
you did. 3 hours ago, you invited me to one.
Excellent. I know. So I couldn't see whether you were online until you accepted my request.
Oh, I see. Okay, now you can invite me, maybe.
Now I'm inviting you.
It's so hard to connect in a virtual
really is.
space. There are layers and layers and layers. That's a new song too. That goes along with that previous one.
Mhm.
All right. Are you
I'm
joining me?
gonna have a whole album. I'm working on it. I got to figure out how to press this button. Beep. Press the button. Beep, 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 beep. Invites beep. Coming into the world. Beep. Oh, you are a cat.
Well, yeah, it's a cat.
Yeah, I
place.
know. You got it. You're doing the theme. Oh, I can gain trust by spending time in VR chat making friends on my trust meter, as opposed to losing trust.
All right, so I'm ready for my debut. I've got a mic.
Da-na-na. The black cat. I'm joining. The cats are dragging me into the new world. Here I am.
Change my background music. Couch colliders.
Are you doing an open mic? Where are you in this world?
I'm up here. Oh my God, you're a raccoon.
Hey, I am a raccoon. Why are you wearing headphones?
I should probably mute myself. Hold on. All right, mute yourself too. It's because I'm a DJ.
Oh man, but I get some stand-up I want to do.
B button, I think, or X button.
Got it. Can I do my set?
Sure. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, you got a bit. You do your bit. Sorry, you go ahead. You first. You first. I'll be audience. I'm gonna go get a drink.
Okay. Hello, all you crazy cats out there. I
Yeah,
only
we
see
love
one
'em.
raccoon, so no cats.
Yeah, yeah, I love that bit. All
All
right,
right,
Paul.
so yeah,
Freebird,
this is
sing Freebird.
absolutely just like Gather Town in VR with some interactables, although we can obviously do various animations and some interaction with the environment. I think I could even like, yeah, I can use these taps.
What? Yay! Where are the cups?
I mean, I don't think I can actually fill up a cup. So this isn't like Job Simulator or anything. This is just like the simulacra of filling up a cup. Doesn't actually do it.
You serious?
There you go. It's all filled up. We're pretending like we're in kindergarten. There's your cup, sir.
Glug, 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 glug. Oh, that's interesting. That's hilarious.
Yeah, you didn't even
But this
drink
is-
any.
That essentially this is like we have the most high-tech equipment so that we can do make-believe.
Yep, it is
I love
like
it.
it's like
The
a
amount of
playhouse
computa-
when you were in 8 or 9 years old. Here's some
The amount of
pancakes you can't
computational-
eat. You
Oh,
ordered them, right?
I have to pretend to eat these. Wow. This
Would you
is
like
the
some
most.
a Belgian
Ah.
white? All the benefits of alcohol with none of the drawbacks.
To go with my pancakes. Ah, there's my bottle.
All
So
right.
if we put together a band, could we all get together, play our instruments, and have the audio from the instruments, that music actually be filtered in the
Yeah,
space?
you could
I don't know, let's try.
record music into here. Yeah, absolutely.
I've got an instrument here. Let me see if I can play it live. Hold on.
Got an instrument?
I got-
I don't know if I have an
I got-
instrument. I'll sing.
I got
I'll do
I got my
vocals.
box drum. Let me see.
But yeah, you could totally do performances in metaverses. I think actually that's one of the killer apps right now, is simply doing either comedy, improv, or like musical performances with a set of people that are embodied as avatars. I would say that's the current state of things, because I can't write anything here. There's no way for me to permanently change this world in a meaningful way. It's like going to someone else's house and playing around with things, but then it's like a rental. I feel like this is a giant rental.
Oh, what's
So
going
we
on in
need
my
a
hands?
holodeck there. We can program and control the environment.
Yes, we need to find the source code for this as we're using it, as opposed to having everything pre-programmed, because I feel like this is like a snapshot of someone's vision of this place, but I can't change anything. I think I can like sit in a booth, maybe.
Without legs and a waist.
No, I've got legs. We both have legs. See, look at the legs.
Yay, I've got legs.
Oh, right.
Here I am.
Is there
the
a
other
green
place
room
that
where you
doesn't
can
have
leave
legs.
graffiti?
I don't
Everybody
even think
get
we
their
can leave
instruments.
graffiti. That's a good point. No, I can't even like put my hand through the wall. So if this was a hotel room, I couldn't even like destroy it. Let's try low quality mirror.
So-
high quality.
So the police are the program, like
The
we're back in the
program is the
Matrix.
police. Yes. Oh, put that in the Discord. The police are the program. I love it. And it's also impossible to break the law, because the law, well, okay, so you could do socially undesirable things. I could harass users. They can report me, or they can control me. Like I could change Mark's audio. Like I can literally mute Mark, because
Oh no.
I can have that level of
It's like
control
Zoom.
over other users. I don't know how I do that.
It's hard to play this box drum with the actual controllers.
Let's see,
I think that's how it's
social,
supposed to be. I have to have my hands up.
Mark. So like, I'm pretty sure I can moderate user. Oh, I don't want to do that right now. Sorry, Mark, I don't want to moderate you. But I can add
Aw.
a note about Mark. Let's see. Oh, look, I can write text on people.
So maybe if we find the key maker and open a door or a bridge to a different program running within this program that we have some control over, then we can modify all the Mr. Smiths and change our reality.
I mean, I think your
Yeah.
best place to modify people is in that Google Doc we shared.
Yep. Here, I think I can actually drop a portal to a world here.
What? Let's go.
However, no, let's not go, because there's people there. We don't want to go a place with people and put them on YouTube. Absolutely not. We're keeping this just within consensual participants. But I could probably create another instance and drop a thing here. Okay, so then let's see. Notifications. We should switch over to the last one, back to Rec Room, because we're running up on time.
I was gonna say, y'all have 25 minutes.
Okay, so let's switch over to Rec Room, and then let's close up with at least 10 to 15 minutes of going around, getting people's reactions, and also like what are things that people should know about these spaces we've just toured that may never have gone in them before, or what are things that should be allowable in these spaces that aren't allowable. Like right now, I think you should be able to write on things. Certainly creation mode should be universally available, but then what if people start graffitiing all these nice experiences people want to curate? What's the balance between control and freedom? That's
Unless you were the only one that could see the graffiti.
Oh, maybe it is sort of only visible to people that want to see it. All right, I'm jacking out of the matrix.
Pulling the plug.
The Rec Room.
I cannot wait until we have VR tech that is like Existenz, where it's all wet work and BioWare. And
oh God, no! Ew, yuck, no!
You gotta put your hand in some spaghetti and.
I'm getting access, and we find frog pieces in our food that turn into guns. You're giving me the creeps all over again. I thought I'd washed that movie out of my mind.
So wrong, and I love it.
So one thing I do want to draw your attention to is that these are all islands. There's no connection between Rec Room and Horizon Worlds and VR Chat. They are, in some sense, completely independent of each other. So there is no metaverse. There's a set of virtual worlds that are all competing to be the quote unquote metaverse.
The Rec Room has more of like a Wii feel to it. Like the characters look a little more Wii-ish.
Yeah, Rec Room's definitely more family friendly.
I've bowled in here before. That was kind of fun. Attention, all football fans.
Checking out.
Okay, I'm in case you want to.
Yep,
I could buy a fun size.
I'm going to take another second. If you want to, I guess you can't share your screen, but give me like 60 seconds.
I mean, I could, but nobody wants me to. Oh, look, a dune buggy.
All right, so Rec Room also skews young, but not as young as Roblox. So I think VR Chat is the one that skews the oldest in demographics of the set. Horizons is mostly populated by kids. I haven't encountered an adult yet on Horizons, other than maybe the creators. I think it's partially because of the types of things you can do in it are all like make-believe. They're mostly games and fantasies, and they're less like, what does an adult want to do in a virtual social world? Well, conduct a conference, maybe have a salon. We could have a First Friday in VR Chat if everyone downloaded the client and then we all sort of met in VR Chat. That's certainly easier to do in VR Chat than in Horizon World because you could do VR Chat on a PC or Mac, I believe. You don't need to have a VR headset. But then why not do it in Second Life? I think that was the question I heard. What are the advantages of VR Chat over Second Life? I think one of the main ones would be the ability to import Unity stuff. So if someone wanted to bring their artwork into VR Chat, it might be easier than importing it into Second Life. I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe there's some experts in Second Life.
Haven't been there in years.
The visuals when you share the screen are very choppy. Is that as it appears in the mask too?
No. It's actually much smoother, much more high fidelity in it. I think it's just Zoom can't quite handle the visuals that well, but it's definitely smooth and very realistic.
All right, it says you're offline in Rec Room.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Okay, so I got Rec Room, library. Okay, I'm getting in now. Let's see. Masters of the Universe. Interesting. They did a partnership, I'm sure.
Masters of the Universe. Whoa.
Yeah, they did a partnership with Masters of the Universe, apparently, to license the IP.
Can we write
And
a
I think
promo?
Fortnite's also trying to become a metaverse. Fortnite.
So I gather, is there any sense of privacy? I mean, could a group of people gather together and coordinate a political protest of some sort?
That is an excellent question. I believe the problem with the political protest in these metaverses is just how much people control what they see and what they're exposed to, right? Like, I was attending iKids recently at UC Santa Cruz, and their grad students were there protesting the lack of cost of living adjustments. And they did that by picketing the entrance. And you couldn't get through to the campus without crossing the picket line. In some sense, a picket line isn't possible in a metaverse. It is possible to completely ignore someone that doesn't believe the same things that you want to believe, because there's no way to enter into someone's space without their consent. So it is absolutely something that's hard to do, is to create a protest in VR.
But could you organize one for the real world?
You could organize
with
one.
Privacy.
And you could have everyone you want to participate. But the thing is, like, people would have to choose to participate in it. You wouldn't be able to expose other people outside of those you wanted to see or participate to it. And I guess that's what I'm thinking, but maybe you're thinking something slightly different.
So it's a little bit like the filter bubbles are hardening in these spaces.
Yes, and absolutely. And it's in the guise of protecting people from harassment, which is a noble goal. Like, to be able to prevent someone from participating in things they don't want to participate in. It has a sort of dark side to that noble goal, that you then no longer expose people potentially to actions or ideas that they don't want to see or participate in.
So we get back to the siloing.
Last time I was in Second Life, you could be harassed and treated in a variety of ways. It sounds like you couldn't do with this.
No, you can't. And this is the number of anti-harassment things has just been incredible that they've built into these from the very beginning. So, like, the idea of a safe space that you basically can go to at any point, you could simply withdraw from everyone around you. Oh, shoot. Why is my... Sorry, Rick.
John, you mentioned that these platforms are all islands, and then there's no way to go between them, and that has really got me thinking about sort of an artist-created transportation system that leads you up to the gates of each of these other metaverses, but is that kind of public space that you were just talking about, where protests and other things could happen. It's
yes, absolutely. So if there were an inter-metaverse space that allowed people to perhaps curate things across different and actually meet the whole multi-metaverse goal, I think absolutely that would be an option for artists to intervene at that point, because you would have this overworld.
Yeah, and right now there would be strikes in the transportation system, right, Lyle? Between the metaverse worlds.
Yep. Because it was run by artists, they then have the ability to withhold it. But right now, they've really tried to design it against collective action of any type. So, like, there is no control over the metaverse once you enter it and agree to their terms of service, and you otherwise consent to their terms and their thing. That's one thing that's scariest about the current version of metaverses, is it's entirely designed to be a vehicle for making money for these companies, and the control, the democracy is all even more of an illusion than perhaps some of these other platforms we've seen, like Twitter or even the web, for that matter.
It really is the Toryverse.
So I actually am having some trouble loading up Rec Room, so I'm in favor of just opening it up to discussion and responses and reactions now, and skipping Rec Room for the sake of time.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, let's chat.
So I love already some of the stuff people have been responding to.
I mean, I would love to see a place where you could do like a whole voter registration drive or something like that.
So like a virtual world that encourages people to register to vote and to do like maybe a
Or you
political
could
action.
walk up to a desk, access some outside database, find, you know, how to register to vote for your county if you're in the USA, and register to vote.
But it seems like you could do that I feel like any of these platforms, you can imagine a way to have a voter drive or things like that.
I don't know if anyone
it's
has, I
possible.
think, is more important, because think
Yeah.
about the demographics. They definitely, I think there is something here in Second Life that maybe involves that kind of political action. But I don't know if that's true in Horizons.
Think that the people who are creating these virtual worlds are synonymous with the people who don't want people to register to vote.
No, they want to separate political identity from your online identity because it may be a cause for conflict, harassment, and moderation. Absolutely.
I mean, these are the same folks who are, you know, who are gerrymandering and enacting voter suppression laws and, you know, making it more difficult for the disenfranchised to participate in democratic processes. And that is also a little bit scary, you know. If you know, it's like the argument against a cashless society, right? You move to a cashless society and it's the people who rely on cash that then suffer, and those are mostly people who, you know, can't get bank accounts or credit or what have you because of you know, that they've had difficulty with society, so then you push them further out. And it feels like to some extent the virtual reality is that is shaping up. Like we have this idealized notion of virtual reality that is presented through the media, but then in real reality it's you know, it's Zuckerberg's fantasy world, and that's way creepy.
Yeah, so I mean, one thing I loved about Upload was the fiction was all the people that had the money to pay for it didn't have to like see poverty. They didn't have to see the problems that other people were having. They were all in the basement. They were out of sight, out of mind. And so in this instancized world of metaverse where you basically can choose your friends, have all the fun you want, but not have to worry about class issues or voter rights or any of these other real world issues. It's really just an escapist fantasy rather than an actual world that has some of the interactions and growth and development that we see. And certainly Facebook and others don't want you to vote on things that change the rules of the world. There's no notion of like democracy even implied in any of these worlds about how things happen. You could submit a bug report, you can maybe report an issue, but there's no sort of mechanism by which the owners of the platform need to actually follow what the people using the platform care about or want.
The ideal would be that each user is in their own little atomic bubble into which products can be fed and money extracted.
Absolutely, that's it. 100%. It's basically the Matrix.
Yeah.
It's interesting to
except instead of harvesting energy from the biosignals of everybody, it's harvesting microtransactions from people's bank accounts, and more importantly, having everyone generate the content. Like that's something we saw in all of these metaverses, was people were the cattle creating the content for other people. It wasn't even on Facebook or Rec Room or VRChat to create content for consumption. It was entirely a user-generated content type model of business.
It's interesting to think about public and private spaces in cities. I don't know about elsewhere in the world, but in American cities, companies will embed a very small plaque in the sidewalk saying this is the beginning of private space. And so they can kick people off, protesters, people handing out forms, you know, one step away, you're on a public street, and then the big plaza is private property and so on. And it's interesting to think about, again, the model visually is architectural, but like private architecture rather than urban planning. Like it'd be interesting to get urban planners involved in this who deal with common public spaces and so. but it's all those interior luxury spaces, but except for that kind of proto golf course you started out on, which is interesting. That was a great observation. But yeah, I just think architects would have, I'm sure they're going crazy. Like the really cool, smart architects are really have a lot
But
to
they're
offer
not being
about this.
invited. I think you're
Yeah.
absolutely right that they're not at the table. They're basically saying, we don't need architecture if people simply teleport between spaces, right? Like if I could teleport directly to my destination, I don't care about the public square I'd need to pass through to get there.
But some of the people in the course of my life, the people that have had the most helpful conversations about public and private in every respect are architects, because they think about that all the time. Anyway, just a thought.
No, absolutely. I wish we could get more architects involved. But again, we don't have any control. That's kind of the thing I'm most upset about the entire thing, is the degree to which people have control over the future of these virtual worlds. We're all spectators to what is essentially a corporate agenda for what features get prioritized, what spaces get built, what sort of priorities are for how these interactions are developed. I mean, I know everyone here is familiar with algorithmic timelines and the ability to, get people to go through YouTube videos and to personalize stuff towards advertisements. It's going to happen again with these virtual worlds. And I'm not sure there is an open alternative right now. I think it's out of reach of people that are able to do it.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't want to miss the possibilities too, because when I was in Altspace VR, people were making all sorts of Lego worlds for themselves that they just enjoyed, whether they were like outer space worlds or again, things that would have been physically out of reach for them, and they were sharing them with other people. You'd go into Altspace VR and someone would say, hey, do you want to see the pirate world I just made? And again, I still enjoy that kind of creativity, even if it's completely constrained by a platform or monetized by somebody else. I mean, I feel like that is literally what my digital existence is at this point.
And it's also interesting to note that almost all of these fictional depictions of the metaverse involve storylines of control of the platform itself. Everything from the Matrix, to take the control back from the computers that run the Matrix, to Ready Player One, to Upload for that matter. It is always a fictional depiction of agency and a struggle for agency, which seems to be not what anyone building these metaverses have really understood, that the artists, the writers addressing the metaverse are really crying out for the loss of what the modern metaverse depicts as a utopian consumerist paradise of no control and no worries.
The original Snow Crash novel has nobody controlling it, but people staking out chunks of the virtual real estate. And the programmers are the people who can get inside it, but there doesn't seem to be any overall organization for them.
No,
Yeah, it was a lot more of a shanty town.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there certainly isn't. There's a lot of anti-hacking, and I'm not even sure there are hackers.
That's interesting.
Attempt to take over the code or change some of the behaviors. In fact, I think as I installed both Rec Room and VR Chat, I installed anti-cheating software.
Yeah.
Why does that make it feel more dirty?
It makes it feel awfully dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's a comparison to be made to the web, where you can set up a silo, but other people can just put up pages freely on their own.
But not if they own the platform, then people can't put stuff independently of it. But yeah, you're right. The web was a lot more decentralized.
Yeah.
So
Don't you feel
go ahead.
Don't you feel it's still early enough? I mean, this is still nascent technology, right? That there's opportunities to support other people creating these more democratic, progressive.
So I think one of the problems there is the hardware, and it's like similar to the App Store, right? So it's like most people. So what's the lowest cost thing you could buy? Well, there are lots of them. You can't Google goggles, I guess, but the cardboard. But I mean, this is supposed to be relatively affordable for people who buy things that are $100 or $200, whatever. But okay, so where are you going to get your apps once you get one of those? you're going to get them through the App Store, right? You can sideload stuff, but who knows how to do that, right? It's like, and so again, similar to iTunes, Google Play Store, but more importantly, the Apple App Store, like they're controlling the portal into the space to get to everyone. So again, different than the web, it actually becomes harder. Like there's a bottleneck or a gate. There's a gate that's been created by the gatekeepers.
Yeah, and Meta's main motivation behind creating or buying Oculus was due to Facebook getting shut out by Apple and Google from their mobile platforms. So Facebook basically said, we want to own the next hardware platform. We have to be able to control transactions. And the real economic reason is if you want to have a program on Facebook's platform, you got to pay Facebook 30% of any sort of transaction. You can't have money change hands without a portion of it going to Facebook. And that kind of control and tax is just absurd in terms of that. Now, there are some competitors. There is a headset that Vive is putting out. And I think eventually there will be competitors that are looking to maybe do a more Android approach. So Android definitely was initially more friendly to like third-party app stores and things like that. But the Fortnite lawsuit is something to follow very closely because it could determine whether third-party app stores can be on hardware and also the right to repair stuff as well.
Dave's got something. I just want to get him in. Sorry.
Yeah, just a riff on Rob's discussion of public and private space and also the gates and all the gatekeeping. Actual world example from New Zealand, you cannot own any coast. It's all public. So theoretically, you could walk around the whole island if it were possible, geologically. So I think one thing to do is at least insist that we don't have less freedom than we do in the actual world, and insist on reinscribing those kind of principles, in terms of that expectation of unencumbered movement. If New Zealand were all of a sudden dropped into any of these platforms, then that principle should, in theory, remain. Just perhaps a empowering optimist note for me to begin and end on.
Yeah, and again, I feel like it's a great analogy. You can do that in California too. In Malibu, you can walk around the coast, but people have built their houses to make it unpleasant for you to get there, right? Or for you to feel like you're doing something wrong when you're walking there, right? So it's like there's other ways that we create that sense of exclusivity.
I did want to end on a hopeful note. Like
Oh,
part
yeah,
of what
forgot
we
about
were
that.
envisioning for this
Sorry.
session.
Rob's got his hand up. I'm not sure that's a hopeful hand.
Go Rob.
Sorry, also ending on a hopeful note, but I just wanted to quickly build on what Nancy and Mark were saying. There's always space for pure imagination, pure creativity to do détournement, to change things around. But we need to look to not the history of kind of free society art, but things like repressive society art, like Iron Curtain Poland, Iron Curtain Russia, where there's all sorts of things, and the wonderful posters made in Poland about the circus, which was everybody's slang term for the government. So everybody knew that a circus poster was actually, lampooning the government. But anyway, that and then glitches. I just want to say, enjoy the glitches. And there's this wonderful opportunity in glitches before they're repaired. That's a space for what we want to do.
Glitches in the matrix. I love it.
Yep. And I just want to encourage everyone to continue writing about this and calling for these changes. Like, it is still time, but if people don't know that this is happening and solidifying around them, then we're going to lose the opportunity. And it's really the writers that will give everyone the voice to ask for things like what we see is not possible in these worlds. So thank you, everybody, for participating.
Brilliant.
Thank you all. Thank you guys.
Thanks to John and
I
Mark.
promise I'm not,
and
I promise I'm not going to do any more workshops during this Unconference.
You're me at Como. All right, brilliant. Thank you so much to John and Mark for that. Really fascinating and somewhat scary tour of the virtual worlds that are emerging in our social spaces. So thank you very much. I'm just going to do my